Let's get started with our first news. Ilia Topuria is now pound for pound #1. The UFC pound for pound rankings have been updated following UFC 317. And there has been a massive shakeup. Jon Jones is nowhere to be found after officially announcing his retirement, leaving a huge gap at the top of the rankings. Seizing that moment, Ilia Topuria has claimed the #1 spot after his incredible, emphatic knockout win over Charles Oliveira. It was a statement victory that sent shockwaves through the entire MMA community. Islam Makhachev, who has long dominated the conversation as one of the most technically sound and consistent champions, now slides to #2. It's a move that's getting a lot of attention and sparking debate among fans and analysts alike. Some people feel Islam's overall body of work and consistency should keep him at the top, while others argue that Topuria's recent performance simply cannot be denied. Meanwhile, Morab Dvalishi now sits at #3 after an incredible run marked by relentless pressure and grit. His style may not always be flashy, but it's effective, and it's earned him a place among the elite. Alexandre Pantoja also made a big jump, moving up 4 spots to #5 after submitting Kai Kara France in an impressive and dominant fashion. That finish reminded everyone that Pantoja is a serious threat in his division and can't be overlooked. This is a huge shakeup in the rankings, and it's got everyone talking. Topuria's performance was nothing short of undeniable. Knocking out a former champ like Oliveira is no small feat. It solidified his claim as the top fighter in the world. It wasn't just a win, it was a commanding, decisive finish that left no doubt in anyone's mind about his legitimacy. Meanwhile, Islam Makhachev, despite his dominant streak and proven ability to control and finish fights, finds himself bumped to 2nd place. Some fans are questioning if that's fair, wondering if Topuria's sample size is too small, or if his rise is a little too fast. But others argue that rankings are about what you've done lately and who you've beaten, and Topuria's win over Oliveira is as high level as it gets. What's clear is that the division is now wide open. The shakeup at the top is going to lead to some epic showdowns in the future to truly determine who is the best pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. It's a thrilling time to be a fan of MMA, with so many matchups to dream about and debates to have. One thing's for sure, everyone will be watching what happens next. Now let's move on to the second news. Khamzat Chimaev attempts to go after Sean Strickland on X. Ahead of his highly anticipated middleweight title fight against Dricus du Plessis at UFC 319, Khamzat posted that he's now in the US, clearly ready to kick off the build-up. True to form, he tried to stir the pot by calling out Sean Strickland in classic Khamzat fashion, but this time things didn't go exactly as planned. He tagged the wrong Sean Strickland. Instead of the UFC fighter, he accidentally tagged some completely unrelated guy. To top it off, Khamzat included a middle finger emoji along with a couple of laughing crying emojis in the post, which made the whole thing even funnier. The guy he tagged actually played along, replying simply with, "I do," leaving everyone cracking up. Khamzat, realizing the mistake, responded with surprising humility, saying, "Sorry bro, I don't know how to use Twitter, wrong guy." He didn't stop there though. He ended the entire episode by reposting a gif of the real Sean Strickland marching toward Paulo Costa, fully leaning into the joke and making fun of himself in the process. It turned what was meant to be a heated, trash talk call out into an accidental comedy routine that had fans roaring with laughter. Fans on social media absolutely had a field day with this, immediately pouncing on Khamzat for not knowing how to properly tag his opponent. Memes, jokes, and sarcastic comments flooded X, with people clowning him for turning a hostile challenge into a lighthearted spectacle. Some fans even joked that Khamzat's callouts are so wild that even the Twitter algorithm can't keep up. But let's be honest, this is exactly why Khamzat is so entertaining. Even when he doesn't mean to be, he manages to steal the spotlight and keep everyone talking. It's part of what makes him such a compelling figure in the sport. Whether he's smashing people in the cage, trading insults online, or accidentally tagging the wrong person, he is always making headlines. And of course, all of this only adds more fuel to the hype for his upcoming showdown with Dricus du Plessis at UFC 319. This fight is already shaping up to be massive. Two absolute savages going head-to-head for the middleweight belt. With Khamzat's unfiltered personality and du Plessis' own brand of toughness and trash talk, the buildup is going to be can't miss. One thing is certain, fans will be watching every post, every face-off, and every moment leading up to this war. Now, let's move on to another news. Kamaru Usman calls out Henry Cejudo. Usman didn't hold back at all. He went directly after Cejudo for saying Ilia Topuria should be the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world, only to immediately cast doubt on whether Topuria could even beat Arman Tsarukyan. Usman wasn't about to let that slide. He called out the flip-flopping in Cejudo's comments in front of everyone, pointing out how contradictory it sounded. Usman said, "My way of thinking changes a little bit with Ilia, cause you know everybody's hot on him. I don't know if he does that with a guy like Armen, a guy that could wrestle, a guy that could, you know what I'm saying? Oh, look at you flip-flopping. Did you not just call him the pound-for-pound #1 best fighter in the world right now?" It was classic Usman, direct and brutally honest, pushing back hard on Cejudo's inconsistency without mincing words. But he wasn't finished there. Usman didn't just roast Cejudo, he added real nuance to the debate. He admitted Armen Tsarukyan is no joke, saying, "Not saying that Ilia won't beat him, but what I'm saying is, we gotta talk about that. Armen is a competitor, bro. He's been in there with Islam. He's had a close fight, rightfully so." It was a more layered take that acknowledged Armen's skills while still calling out the hypocrisy in Cejudo's argument. Then the conversation shifted to the complete mess at 112. Usman didn't sugarcoat it. He said, "It's a mess right now at 155 lows. It's a mess in the way where a lot of different things took place within the last year that created this mess." Then the champion, #1 pound for pound, decides, "You know what? I'm tired of being here. I'm leaving." That creates a bigger mess. He laid it all out there for fans, exposing how the division has no clear roadmap and the chaos is only growing. Usman went further, explaining how this confusion makes it tough to justify just giving someone a big fight based on hype alone. It makes it very difficult to just say because you got some heat. You can make some noise with this fight. We're just going to move you up to fight. We're gonna let you skip. He was blunt about how unfair that would be to real contenders grinding it out. The conversation even turned to whether Paddy Pimblett deserves one of these big opportunities, and Usman didn't sound impressed. He said, "Well, Jess is not going to get it. I think we both know that, dude." Well, listen. Usman made it very clear the division is chaotic, crowded with contenders, and that there's no easy solution. He wasn't afraid to challenge Cejudo's hot takes, proving once again why fans love his straight-shooting style and no-nonsense analysis. Moving on to another news, Morab Dvalishi reveals Ilia Topuria dropped him twice. Morab appeared on the Ariel Helwani show yesterday and opened up about what it's really like sparring with Ilia Topuria. He didn't hold anything back and admitted that Topuria dropped him twice with vicious body shots. This wasn't some random gym story. It was a raw, honest account from one of the toughest, most relentless fighters in the game. Morab explained, "I sparred with him. He has great wrestling, great jiu-jitsu. We all know that he hits like a truck." That's high praise coming from someone as durable and gritty as Morab, who's known for pushing the pace and breaking his opponents with pressure. When Helwani pressed him about whether they'd sparred last week while Topuria was in town, Morab couldn't help but laugh. He said, "No, not last week. Man, I can't spar with him anymore because he hits too hard. He dropped me 2 times from the body shot. Thank God my head is fine." It's a pretty striking admission when you think about it. Morab is not the type of fighter who backs down from anyone. He's gone toe-to-toe with some of the nastiest strikers and grapplers in the UFC without blinking. So to hear him talk about avoiding sparring with Topuria because of the power, that says everything you need to know about just how dangerous Ilia is in there. Morab even described the relief he felt every time their sparring sessions ended. "Every time I finished fighting with him, I was happy. Thank God it's over. It's over." That sense of relief coming from such a warrior really underlines the level of threat Topuria brings. It's one thing to have highlight reel knockouts in the cage. It's another thing entirely to be folding elite contenders in training with body shots alone. This kind of real, unfiltered testimony only adds to Topuria's growing legend. Fans already knew he was a killer inside the octagon, but this just confirms he's an absolute monster even behind closed doors. It fuels the hype and fear around his name. Opponents know they're not just stepping in with a slick striker or a solid grappler. They're facing someone with raw, fight-ending power that can crush you to the body. For Ilia Topuria, stories like this help build an aura that's nearly impossible to ignore. He's not just beating people, he's breaking them, and with more top contenders openly admitting how hard he hits, his reputation as one of the scariest fighters in the division is only going to grow. Fans love it. Opponents? Probably not so much, but one thing's for sure, everyone is paying attention now. Now let's move on to another news. Prochaza. fires back at Magomed Ankalv. The drama really heated up after Ankalv decided to stir the pot with a pointed post on X just a few days ago. He wrote, "Breaking news. Alex now asking he wanna fight me during Ramadan again. I need more time. And the other clown, he have to do his homework. Let me fight Carlosberg. I think he's more dangerous than all of them." It was classic Ankalv throwing shade at multiple people in one go and making sure to ruffle some feathers. Ankalv was clearly calling people out and trying to position himself as the baddest man in the division. But Jiri wasn't about to sit back and take it quietly. He fired back today with his own cutting reply. He said, "Hey clown, I finished university like you finished elementary school, I hope. And if you don't want me as your teacher now, I'll fight Carlos next." It was classic Jiri, sharp, witty, and absolutely unafraid to go toe-to-toe in the trash talk department. Fans loved it. Social media lit up with reactions to Jiri's comeback. It wasn't just a generic insult. He delivered it with style and a sense of humor that made it even more entertaining. The light heavyweight division has always been known for its colorful, larger-than-life personalities, and exchanges like this remind everyone why it's such a fun weight class to follow. But this isn't just about words. Both Jiri and Ankalv are absolute dangers inside the octagon. They're proven finishers with brutal striking and serious toughness. If they ever meet in the cage, all this trash talk is only going to make that fight even bigger. Fans will have all this build-up in mind, making the stakes feel personal, intense, and can't miss. Jiri's response also highlighted something fans love about him. He's not just a wild, unorthodox fighter. He's smart and articulate, capable of dropping a clever insult without sounding forced. He brings real character to the division. Meanwhile, Ankalv's original post shows he's not shy about needling potential opponents and trying to get under their skin. For now, the banter continues. The insults fly back and forth and fans can't get enough of it. Every social media exchange just adds another layer of intrigue to the division. The tension is building, the hype is real, and if these two warriors ever step into the cage against each other, you better believe this beef is gonna make it one of the most anticipated light heavyweight showdowns in recent memory. Moving on to another news, Armen Tsarukyan fires back at Ilia Topuria. After UFC 317, Topuria took some shots at Armen, saying he thought Armen looked scared after watching him KO Charles Oliveira. Topuria claimed Armen had a look of shock on his face when he saw the knockout. He even mocked him by saying, "I was gonna be the replacement for this fight. Thank God nothing happened to Charles because this could have been me." Topuria didn't stop there. He accused Armen of playing games with his weight cuts, saying, "He always makes weight when he knows he's not going to fight, but when he knows he's fighting, he tries to make weight and goes, 'Oh, my back.'" Armen didn't let that slide. He fired back on X with a sharp response. "Running from the real contender only proves one thing: you're scared. Deep down, you know exactly what happens if you ever step in there with me." He wasn't backing down, making it clear he believes Topuria is avoiding him. But Armen wasn't done with the insults. He shifted focus to Dan Hooker, writing, "On a side note, Dan Hooker is still just thought that needed to be said." Dan Hooker didn't let that go unanswered either. He fired back at Armen with a cutting reply. "You're a human. Side note, #1 contender no one gives a shit about." The trash talk was flying in all directions. This back and forth between Armen and Topuria is adding serious spice to the division. Both men are young, hungry, and confident they can beat the other. Fans are already calling for this fight to happen. The animosity is real, and if these two ever share the octagon, it's going to be must-see TV. Meanwhile, the 155 division is stacked with killers, and these personal rivalries make it even more fascinating. Everyone's gunning for that shot at the belt, with guys like Topuria at the top of the pound-for-pound rankings and Arman chasing hard. The lightweight scene has never been more dangerous. There's a sense that no one is safe and anyone can get knocked off at any moment. The fan interest is sky high and the UFC knows it. So that's where we stand with all the drama, call-outs, and shifting rankings. The sport is thriving on these rivalries and stories. Whether it's Khamzat making accidental comedy on social media, Usman calling out Cejudo's flip-flopping, Morab admitting Topuria folded him with body shots, Jiri trading insults with Ankalv, or the heated back and forth between Armen and Topuria, there's never a dull moment. The next few months are going to be wild as all these fighters try to settle things inside the cage, and fans, we're here for every second of it.